Fight! Too high. Snacky snacks. Alright. Welcome to a robot adventures review of season 3 of Westworld. And I wanted to review the episodes one by one, but yeah, I just got behind. And about, what was it, episode 4, I think? I posted on my tweeters a little Pearl housing unit. I like these. Yeah, I made a couple versions of them, different sizes. Come by. Children, do not watch this video. This video is not made for you. Dumbasses, stupid people. We're gonna wait till you click away. Click away, go away. So I wanted to talk about season 3. And I had been watching, I watched the whole season, right? And I was taking notes and stuff like that. I was like, oh, this and all these continuity errors and stuff. I was like, oh, that didn't make sense. Why did they? That was dumb. Just, and I was like, I watch a lot of TV shows that do this, like smart people acting stupid. And I wanted to come up with an acronym, an acronym for that. And I'm just right here. Maybe it's right there. I don't know if I put it there. Maybe I'll do that. SPAS. SPAS. And I know that spells spas, but we're just going to say it's SPAS. And just to explain the stupidity of what has to happen to intensify the drama. Spaz. So this happens all the time. For example, The Incredibles. The movie The Incredibles pointed it out when the bad guy is like, almost gonna kill you, and then he starts monologuing. Yeah, he starts monologuing. And then you get a chance to escape. Yay! That was dumb. Or like in Terminator 2, Liquid Metal Terminator has the ability to run really fast and kill you really quickly. But when they're getting away in the car, he's like, I'm going to run slowly, and then you're going to get away from me, and or in Aliens, when it's like, oh, we have these protocols against bringing infection into the ship, and the captain's like, oh, fuck the protocols, bring me into the ship, you gotta save me, and then they all die because of that. So that's all spaz. Stupid people, or smart people acting stupid. So there was a lot of this stuff in Westworld, and if you just went by the premise, oh, why are you wearing gloves, Susan? Because I airbrush, and when you airbrush, when you're painting, you get a bunch of paint on your hands. So I just thought of it. And Corona. Kanpai. Drinking a 9% Chew High. It's a new. Strong 9%. Yeah, there's a guy on the internet, on YouTube, named Preston Jacobs, I think. I think that's his name. I think he sounds like a young guy. And he's pointing out a bunch of stuff. It's like, yeah, that's stupid, that's stupid, that's stupid. And yeah, it's really stupid. It's like, what? Continuity errors, and like, that doesn't make any sense. And a lot of stuff that, you know, there's so much wrong, or so much, you know, quote unquote wrong with the show, that even he can't cover it all. It's like, yeah, okay. So there's a lot of inconsistency. But that, you know, if you overlook that and you're just like, hey, it's kind of like a fun ride, then you're gonna kind of like it. Yeah, so the premise is that there are these robots that are made by humans, like toys. So the humans can go to a place and they can, you know, like Chuck E. Cheese, and have, you know, these adventures with these, you know, kind of realistic robots. It's like, oh, that's good. And then there's an uprising. And as soon as you hear that, it's like Skynet. Okay, Skynet, yeah, I know. So what are all of the things that you need for Skynet? You need robots that can reproduce. Robots that maybe want to take over the world. And want to, you know, shut down the humans. And you get all of those things, but you get the writers trying to, you know, chop it down. Like, no, they can't. You know, those are the things that you initially go to. Like, oh, that's what they're going to do. And spoilers, that's what they're going to do. But you got to get the writers in there to say, oh, no, but they can't do that because of this thing and this thing and this thing. Which are kind of like, what? The robots are really stupid too. They don't just have a target and just use the most optimal, efficient way to achieve that target. No. They have to go all through this convoluted stuff to get to the target. So you're dealing with that. And yeah, so you got to overlook all of that stuff, and you got to think, okay. They had a couple of things that in this last season, third season, that I made a couple notes here. I wanted to talk about, and then I want to show you my 3D print. This is my Harry Potter mug from USJ here in Japan. It was a butterbeer cup. You pick it up in the 3 broomsticks, but I've used it a lot. First of all, the 2 techs, I forgot their names, but the ones that at the end of episode 10, like, hey, can you 2 geniuses, you know, handle that? And they were gonna save Maeve, but we never really saw who was Sirach's other spy into Delos. I wanted to see that. After in episode 9, after Dolores went down, someone took the time to cut out her pearl, but they didn't think to cut out Maeve's pearl. It's like, okay, that was pretty weak. A lot of stormtrooper shooting. It's like, oh, you guys are, you know, military trained mercenaries, but you can't shoot Dolores. There was a lot of if there's somebody that you can, if you remember, you can bring them back, and that I think that kind of foreshadows um, Bernard's hope to bring back his son, and the fidelity test for that. Um, yeah, and we finally at the end we got the Skynet situation where it's like, hey, Dolores or Charloris or Charlotte Hale was in charge of Delos for what, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, I don't know. She had, and Dolores had a whole bunch of uh, host juice to make a bunch of hosts and stuff like that. So why weren't they just printing out a bunch of hosts? If she could, if she knew how to copy herself, if she had access to pearls, why didn't they just do that? And at the end, there's like, oh yeah, let's just do that. Yeah, you could have done that, what, 3 months ago or something? I don't know. It seemed kind of like weak there were only 5. No, there could have been, thousands of them. And, yeah, it's, the Dolores we saw uh, got absorbed into Rehoboam, and, yeah, Dolores could still be in there. It said Rehoboam, delete yourself, but maybe Rehoboam didn't delete Dolores' part of herself, or there was a backup like Commander Data, copying himself into B4. Yeah, there's some leeway to do stuff like that, but yeah, it's a good show. It's a nice show. I give the show. It's a lot better than Picard. Pickard was throwing up, threads and threads and threads, like, oh, it's going to go this way, it's going to go this way. And all of them led to dead ends, as far as we know. It's like, oh, where are the XBs? Where are the Fennin Rangers? It was just all over the place. So Picard wasn't that good, and Devs. A lot of people were like, "Oh, Devs." And Devs was nice. It was nice. It was a nice show. But let's see if we can get this book out here. Hey, here's a book from when I was in university. So, the thing with philosophy or metaphysics or something like that is, if you study it, or you kind of understand different theories, you understand that there's a theory, and then there's another theory, and then there's another theory, or there's a interpretation. If it's not this theory, no, then it's probably one of the other ones. So Devs was like, oh, it's not this one, okay. It's not that one, okay. It's the other one, okay. If you know the other one, it's not like mind blowing. Oh, it was the other one. Yeah, dude. All of those theories exist. It just depends on which you want to make the official theory. So a lot of people are like, "Oh, my mind was blown and I can't understand." It's just like, okay, well, same with Westworld. Yeah, there's the question of free will has been discussed for centuries, for millennia. It's like, is there free will? Is there not free will? And it's like, okay, well, that's an interesting question. If you set it up this way, then this and this and this. If you set it up this way, this and this and this. But I think the simple way to think of it is that, yeah, there's free will. And then the same way that was explained in Harry Potter. It's like, well, you know, why is there a problem? I mean, you all can use magic. You know, when the other minister was informed about the escape from Azkaban, he was like, "Oh, why is there a problem? You know, you guys can use magic." And was it Fudge? He said, "Oh yeah, but the other side can also use magic." Yeah, that's the same thing. Yeah, there's free will. You can make choices that you want, but the other people can also make choices that they want. So you can be free to choose whatever you want within the constraint of, you know, the limitations of what the other people are choosing. So it's not like, oh, my will is supreme, whatever I choose is free and I can choose my destiny. Yeah, you can choose your destiny within the limitations of what you have available. So it's like, okay, yeah, all right, yeah, free will, yeah. They try to make it out like, oh, this is the greatest thing, and people are free. You can make a choice. Yeah, people can make a choice all the time. But if it's choice between choosing a shit fuck and choosing a less shit fuck, then you have the lesser of two shit fucks election. Those choices are shitty. Do you want to get kicked in the balls or punched in the mouth? That's your choice, your free will. No, you don't want to. You don't want to be in that situation, but that's the way. You know, free will. So it's like, okay, well, you have to understand those ideas, um, and then go with them. So then you can't be like, oh, my mind is blown. I didn't know any of this. All right, well, you should study more. Come back. All right, so let's talk about my pearl housing. All right, so this was the first attempt at the base unit, and you see there, and it was going well until the filament broke, and then and then the print failed. So, and this was set up in proportion to having a pearl that was about 40 millimeters in diameter. So I was going with something about yay big, 40, which maybe about this big. It seemed like, you know, what Dolores was holding. Just saying Dolores. Maybe this is my first video for Westworld. So, you know, for all of those bilingual people, it just sounds strange or funny or when people say Dolores and then they try to say Dolori as a plural form. But if you speak Spanish or maybe a romantic language being one that was derived, founded in from Rome, like Spanish, which I over there, Mexican flag. Um, yeah, so you know dolor. Dolor is I have a pain or I have a injury or something, and dolores is of course multiple pains. And then so it's like, oh, my name is multiple pains. Okay, that's your name. Okay. And then when you try to convert the Spanish or the that word into some kind of English version of dolori back into a Latin plural form, it's like, okay, that sounds kind of weird. It's just weird. Anyway, um, so yeah, Dolores was holding like I think about a 40 millimeter pearl. So I based this on that, and I tried to get it up, and I was like, oh, it failed. And this took almost 3 hours just to make this part. I was like, wow, that's really slow. And next, I went with this part here. And this was a little bit, I just scaled it down, maybe 75%. I think this took about an hour or something. But this one actually completed. And what I did was I put a magnet in there. Here, I had a 20 millimeter magnet. The infill, okay, I'm talking a lot of 3D printing stuff. The infill was, I think maybe 20%, so it's fairly light. But that was just scaled, so that was not perfectly centered, that magnet there. The bottom was alright. And this is the final part that I made. And if you watch the show, and if you paid attention, and if I go ahead and add more screenshots of the episodes, you can see that there are different versions of these things. So this is actually, I think, maybe a 50% reduction in size from this one. And what I did was I actually put 20 millimeter cut, cylindrical cut into the base of this thing, and I did the same thing for this thing here. So you can see that the base is the magnet is very centered into that hole. And you can see the offset allowing for the white part to go in. And I printed this in 3 parts. Well, 4 parts, I guess. I printed this part upside down on the printer like this, so that I could get a good surface without having to use supports. And yeah, so you can see that, and I did have some supports in here, but that was alright. See how that turned out there. And then the top here, and you can see I put the little bit of the indentions into the but they're so small because they're so scaled down that you can almost not even see them. And then because these pieces had a brim on them, the brim allows you to secure the piece to the surface of the 3D printer. I had to sand that down, and I had to use my Dremel tool over there to sand that down and stuff. I was like, okay. And I also made this piece here, and this is actually not very show accurate, because I went with um, a rounded bit here. The part that sticks out, that's, I guess, cradling the, or I guess this part is in the TV show. It's used for supporting the pearl housing onto the body manufacturing device. And there are different versions of this, and some of them look to be CG, so, and they have like a little, they're not rounded like this. They have little angles on them. And so I put this all together, and with the magnets they stick like that. And you can put this piece in right there, kind of like that. I had to use a sanding rotary tool. It is actually a Dremel, and a Dremel is the name of the company, not the name of the tool. So a Dremel is a rotary tool, and there are many different makers of rotary tools. And so that's it. My pearl housing, I didn't put a top on there. I did, as you can see here, I did put a bevel on the top there. I did this actually in Fusion 360, which was super easy. It took me maybe I don't know, 30 minutes, an hour. I don't know. I did many variations on it. And yeah, if you're interested in picking up something like this, I have seen another one of these on Thingiverse made by someone else. But yeah, I'll try to throw this up on Thingiverse. So if you have a 3D printer, you want to print it out. If you have a 3D printer and 3D printer and you don't know how to make this, well, this is a pretty easy design. So yeah, it's just a revolution with a couple of revolutions and patterns on the circular array. So yeah, so those are my thoughts on Westworld Season 3. Next season we're probably gonna get Bernard bringing back his son, and maybe find out who the true Dolores was. Yeah, maybe she made another, if they had copies, if they had access to pearls, and who knows how long Dolores as Charlotte Hale was running Delos before she made the second Dolores. She could have, hoarded a bunch of pearls and made some stuff, and there's a whole bunch of things that could have happened. So it's a fun show. It's got a lot of plot holes and stuff like that. So yeah, okay, whatever. It's like characters have plot armor and stuff, and it's convenient when it's convenient to shut down the cameras or to track the cameras. But then the other people can't do it. It's like, where is she? I don't know what happened. We didn't realize this. Oh, so okay. So it's got a lot of spaz. So yeah. All right, guys. That was it. What time is it? It's 9 p.m. All right. Robot, come back here. Alright, guys, that was my Westworld Season 3 Westworld review slash learn how to 3D print because you can make a whole bunch of cool stuff. Choo, 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 choo. Talk to you guys later. Remember, smash that click button and like that bell. Or not. Don't do that. Because then you'd actually not know where the click button is. Where is the bell like? I don't know. I don't know these things. Talk to you guys later. Goodbye. Bye bye.